What do you call a dragon without any silver? A drawn. What's going on, YouTube? We have a massive Tuesday here for us because we have the Golden Pursuit start, we have our 3 vendor flips, but also I just have to show you, Grey Host finally looks how it should, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. After our long stream yesterday, we can all look into the sunset and know that we were victorious, unless you're an AD or EP player, but then ignore that. And so the Golden Pursuits have started. You can see that if you do 2 of these, you get 25k gold. If you do 4, you can get 4 100 transmute geodes. Then at 6, you get a statue. 8, you get 75k gold. And then at 12, you get the anniversary costume. There's a lot of stuff here. A lot of it is very easy. Completing quests, obviously, very straightforward. You also have your incursions. For those of you who don't know what an incursion is, that's when somebody tries to invade somewhere. It could be dragons. It could be Malak Bal, the little rapscallion who's been defeated so many times. It could be Oblivion portals. It could be Hero Storms. For all the Hero Storms, credit, they are better than the anchors when it comes to difficulty, which means that vampires canonically are stronger than Malak Bal himself. You can see, though, too, there are some defeat anchors. Now, you will have to defeat anchors specifically for those. So my best recommendation would be to just go blow up some anchors in Alakir if you wanted to do these. Also, too, once the January 23rd Pantamriel event starts, everybody's going to be going through killing world bosses, public dungeon bosses, trial bosses, delve bosses, bosses in group dungeons, defeating 100 or 500 enemies, improving 8 times at a stable master, just getting into some good habits, fishing inside of Cyrodiil. That'll be perfect, especially getting those rare fish. For those of you who don't know, you'll have curated fishing drops during the Pantamriel event, which runs from January 23rd all the way, I think, until February 4th. It's 14 days. Dealing damage to a training dummy is a really interesting one to add on here. Practicing some parsing, getting a bit of a reward for that, and then earning 12 event tickets. And notably, they took the rewards off the side ones. I think a lot of people were confused because sometimes, for Seals of Endeavors, for example, you actually can't do more than like the weeklies. So you can't, they didn't want people to be confused or, I did 12, but can I still do the 13th one if it had a specific reward? So now all the rewards are at the tippy top, as you can see. So my recommendation, do some Dark Anchors when the January 23rd event starts. I would also do some dailies, do your Fighters Guild dailies, especially if you're on a new character. It's going to have you go kill anchors anyway. And you'll also have a chance to get some of the scripts that you need. And then obviously, if you kill the world bosses, Bankrai, good habit to get into. Kill a delve boss, any delve boss. My favorite one is the Lady Laurel Shelter inside of Deshawn. It's got tons of treasure chests, which you'll notice is up here. Dig up 5 treasure chests, but it does have to be from treasure maps, unfortunately. But you can still get some good Mother Sorrow pieces. If you're trying to use your treasure maps, I would make sure that you're doing the ones that are highlighted. If you have them, those are the High Isle ones, Blackwood ones, the Reach, and Westweld, and then I think the Deadlands. I would focus on those treasure maps because they have the best bonus reward action that you can get from them. And for our first vendor, we're inside the Infinite Archive, inside Apocrypha, which is a free-to-play zone. We're talking to Filer Ul because he has an assortment of items here for us. The first one is the Dried Bloodtooth Mythic Lead. And this one comes from Fungal Grotto 2. Unfortunately, not Fungal Grotto 1, which is a super consistent farm. Fortunately, Fungal Grotto 2, 5,000 Archival Fortunes is a bit pricey. It comes from a body marking, so you can see the body markings very faintly up here. But you do have to do quite a few different things if you do want to unlock these body markings, which is a bit unfortunate because it's a long one to get. But this is one of the annoying ones. If you wanted to spend 5,000 Archival Fortunes, save yourself a journey. Not the biggest waste, because sometimes it can be really obnoxious getting these dungeon leads. But overall, Now, one that you definitely don't need to purchase is the Druidic Pestle. This one you literally just pick up off the ground. You can see that it's just one that is just right there. You'd be saving 5,000 Archival Fortunes from doing a small walk in the woods. Probably not the best use of 5,000 Archival Fortunes. Next up is Malakina, which makes you look like this. Some people, this might be in style for you. It just depends on your tastes. And if you're interested, it is normally retailing for about 1.2 million gold. You can see, though, since it hit the vendor, people are dropping the price on it a little bit, 850,000, 999,999. So overall, though, only 4 total listings because this is the only page of listings. So it's decently rare, 15,000 archival fortunes. Obviously, you can't resell it because it's bound to you. Up to you. Comes from the White Gold Tower. Let's keep it pushing. Deshaun. Now, people do need to unearth some treasure maps at this upcoming event. Is it worth 2,000 archival fortunes for Deshaun treasure maps? No. While the sets from there do have some decent resellability, even all the way in 2025 from a base game zone, not nearly enough to justify 2,000 archival fortunes. Even during the event, not necessarily a good one to have. I do hope and pray, though, that next week we will have some goated with the Sauce treasure maps. Give me a Westweld treasure map, Telvanni Peninsula treasure map, High Isle treasure maps. Any of those, we'll take them. Deshaun, no good. Next up, we have heavy armor companion gear. Now, this is a decent one to roll for because there are 3 good traits that you could get. You could get reduced cooldowns, you could get increased health, or you could get reduced damage taken. So you do have decent odds to get something. The problem becomes if you already have most of the heavy armor pieces that you need, this becomes significantly less good of a value. Plus 2, January 23rd, part of the event boxes are going to have companion gear. Which pieces of companion gear are going to be flooding onto the market? Always so hard to tell. We do have 2 new recent companions that came out in Q4 of last year, which is the most recent update for ESO. So overall, not a bad value. You could consider it if you're like, I want to make a tanking companion, but I'm trying to ball in a budget here, and I got a lot of archival fortunes. Next up, we have our books, with the first one being A Feast Among the Dead, Chapter 4. Now, very few trilogies are successful. This one is a 4logy. And I still think it bangs after 4 books. Now, bonus points if you can tell me in the comments below which Daedric prince has you eat a dead person in Skyrim. Bonus points for you. Because we also have the invocation of Hircine. Spoiler, Hircine does not make you do that. He's kind of a cooler Daedric prince, even though he's pretty werewolf-esque, which are kind of cringe in Cyrodiil. But overall, we give him a pass for it, even though werewolves are a bit cringe in BGs and Cyrodiil. Then we have Interrupt, Knockback, Leeching Thirst. Probably not worth your archival fortunes. While I do think that there are some interesting and unique ways that you can use Interrupt, for example, it could be very good, especially AoE interrupts are very helpful. Not something you need to spend your archival fortunes on. And finally, we have Archival Riddle, which drops from the Infinite Archive as is. We have our Cartography Tricon, which you can buy for gold from other players. It's a fragment. And then we have Fragment of the Craze, which actually just drops from a Cold Harbor world boss. Probably not worth purchasing for 1,000 archival fortunes unless you just really hate Cold Harbor. Bit dreary over there. The Plane of Damnation really doesn't have the greatest of vibes, but probably still worth going to save 1,000 archival fortunes. And then we have our second vendor, which is inside the Scholarium, inside of Ivea, which is right over here on your minimap, and the vendor is right here inside the Scholarium. All the items at the tippy top, these are all fixed, but these all rotate. First one we have is Brutality and Sorcery. Then we have Lifesteal, Flame Damage, Class Mastery, which is fixed, and War Mage's Defense. Now, of these ones that are flexible, Brutality and Sorcery is good. I love this one. If you don't have access to an easy way to get this, or if you're trying to put this in a build and you want to use different potions, a lot of people will get Brutality and Sorcery for PvP through potions. You could now put it in as an affix script to save you from then being able to use like invis pots, detect pots, immovable pots instead of having to use Brutality and Sorcery pots, making it easier on yourself. Lifesteal, it's fine. I'd still probably purchase it. These are relatively cheap. Flame Damage, I'd get this one. If you don't have it already, it's a great one to have. Class Mastery is fixed. You have to have the signature script for Class Mastery already completed. And then War Mage's Defense is another go-to with the sauce. Signature script. I would definitely, at the very least, get War Mage's Defense, Brutality, and Flame Damage. If you're on a budget, at least get Flame Damage and War Mage's Defense, because I would say Brutality and Sorcery is probably a little bit more gear heavy towards PvP. And even then, like some people like the Sorcerers already have it built in, but it's definitely one that you still want to have. And we round off in the Lambient Passage inside the Imperial City to talk to our Telvar merchant, because they now have a rotational stock of items. These are all PvP sets from either the Imperial City, BGs, anything PvP related. And we start with Powerful Assault. Now, Powerful Assault is a fantastic set. It's a staple set. but 100,000 Telvar is exceptionally expensive, even for a 10 out of 10 staple set like Powerful Assault. You can see why it's good. While you cast an assault ability while in combat, you and up to 5 other group members within 12 meters gain 307 weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds. This is an unnamed buff, so it will stack with every other buff in the game, and it's very easy to trigger. And from this vendor, you can buy both the rings and the necklaces, and you can see here on PC, it's about 400,000 gold. So to get the gold version of it. But you can see, though, too, you can buy some pretty cheap blue versions and then just upgrade them all the way through. Should you buy this with Telvar, I think really depends on you, how much Telvar you have. Is it worth it on console? This is a significantly less good value. Why, Jake, is it worse a value on console? Well, our upgrade materials are farmed by the Good Soldier, Bot, Clanker Army, and Stros Mackay, and they do a great job of driving down the upgrade materials, meaning that it's cheaper for console players to go out, buy a blue or purple ring and upgrade it to gold. I will say, though, that this still, if you have 100,000 Telvar on console, you would just need to be saving about 400,000 gold. So it's probably, it could be worth buying, is what I'm trying to say. It just depends on how the market might change and things, if everybody uses this opportunity to buy up all the Powerful Assault, because it is a staple set. It is fantastic. But 100,000 Telvar is still a lot. Important to note, though, these are all bind on pickup. So the next one is Steadfast Hero. It gives you armor, max health. When you cleanse a negative effect from yourself or an ally, gain major protection for 10 seconds, reducing their damage taken by 10%. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds. So Steadfast Hero just gives the vibes of like, fine. You know, armor, max health is not the ideal 2, 3, and 4. It's not bad by any means, but generally in this meta, you want a lot of health, not necessarily armor. And then when you cleanse a negative effect for yourself or an ally, you gain major protection. That's certainly great. The uptime on it's pretty good, but I just don't think it's super necessary on today's day and age. I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. It's not bad by any means. It's not above average. If you use this, you would be like, yeah, this is a decent defensive set. That's about all you're getting from this. Next up is the Petrified Daedroth Horn. Now, unfortunately, this one's also not really from anywhere complicated. It's just from the Deadlands. You just kill a world boss, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You can get this lead. Now, world boss leads can notoriously take a while, but I think during the upcoming event in January 23rd, everybody and their mom's going to be farming, and I think the Deadlands is going to be a pretty farmed zone. So if you need this lead, I would just do it then. The Spalder of Ruins Mythic is fine. It's a decent mythic, but it's not one that most of you will need. Next up, we have the Silver Thread Stitching. This is another mythic that's okay. 25,000, Telvar will save you from running Banished Cells 2 on repeat to give you Savara's Bane's Ward. It's another support mythic. Do you need it? Probably not. If you do need it, just farm Banished Cells and 2 end boss. I always like to just try, to farm something a few times. If for some reason it's taking me way too many efforts, I just end up purchasing it outright. RIP, Torque of the Alien King. Another week without you. But overall, I think that this is a fine mythic. I think that you'll be better off, though, just farming Banished Cells too. People are going to be farming tons of dungeons now that we have the Golden Pursuit saying to kill dungeons. Then we'll have the January 23rd Pantariel event encouraging people to do dungeons. So overall, probably can skip this. Then we have Vardenfell Treasure Maps. Now, this one is one where it's like almost good. I almost want to suggest that you buy this. 6,000 Telvar on console is like, we'll say the equivalent of like 15,000 gold-ish. If you were to convert your stuff through the safe, just buying glyphs like a good little cherub, easy conversion. You're buying tri-stat glyphs. This is about 15,000 gold worth of value. Are Vardenfell treasure maps worth 15,000 gold? No. On January 23rd, will they be worth 15,000 gold with the extra treasure map drops? No. So unfortunately, Vardenfell almost there. It's got really good sets, but it just lacks the other components that would make it worth it. There's no crazy ancestral ancient leads. There's no like rare furnishing lead drops that come from there, unfortunately. So overall, Vardenfell is a skip. Then you got our 2 rings. I do think that if you were going to purchase the Powerful Assault, you're probably going to get the ring because you generally need at least 2 of those. because you could wear 2 rings and 1 necklace. Is it worth it? Again, we talked about it. Probably depends on what console you're on. If you're on console, it's probably not worth it. PC, maybe. Depending on how much Telvar you get stacked up. Then we have our scripts. We have Evasion, Uncertainty, Frost Damage, and Cavalier's Charge. Now, the one that sticks out to me right now is Frost Damage. This will be more expensive if you don't have it already. Do I think that you should buy Frost Damage if you're getting into real frosty activities, a little bit of a Frost Warden? Maybe you want to make sure that you have this if you're getting super unlucky, getting the scripts that you need. Overall, though, when it comes to Telvar, it is a premium currency similar to Archival Fortunes. Many people don't have it. If there are any that jump out at me that you need, maybe Frost Damage. Again, if you're trying to build a Mr. Frozen type build, trying to build a snowman, maybe you want to buy this, but probably not something that you need. Cavalier's Charge, very cool aesthetically. Probably not one that I'd be like, oh yeah, guys, run out and go grab this one. Now, this last one, though, is a good fragment to purchase. I will give you 5 guesses if you can tell me where you think Fragment of Sunspire comes from. You guessed it, Dreadsail Wreath. No, I'm kidding. Please don't take that literally. But the Fragment of Sunspire comes from Sunspire. And if you don't want to farm a trial, 50,000 Telvar is actually probably not a bad gig. There's a lot of solo players who like to farm the Imperial City. And these other ones are significantly easier to get done. You can see the first 2 are very easy, looted from a Delve boss. The second one looted in the Forgotten Waste, which is a public dungeon. Last one, or the third one, excuse me, is looted from volcanic vents, easy. Then you've got some that are a little bit of a sticky wicket. You know, you have Baron Drodris and the Cauldron. That could be a little bit more annoying, but Valken Scoria, City of Ash 2, pretty easy. But then it's like, just go complete Sunspire. And if you're a solo player, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was with you when I was doing all the other stuff. I thought the Cauldron, but then you want me to go loot Sunspire? Like, so there are a lot of people who play solo. Maybe you have 50,000 Archival Fortunes. You do get access to this cool looking skill style. You get your puncture now has a little bit of a lava burst. If you want it, definitely go out and get it. The nice thing though is if you're really interested in this, you're probably on a tanking character, which means that it would be easy for you to go do Sunspire because the world needs tanks. That's just the world we live in. So maybe it's something you go out and do. Maybe it's not. I just try to provide you all the thoughts in my head on what I would do depending on the situation that I was in. So definitely take that into consideration. But this is a trial fragment. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. As always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is leave a comments below. Tell me anything. Second thing is just make sure you're subscribed. I think we're 2 subscribers away from the next 100 mark. So please subscribe. Third thing is look for a hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. I just want to thank you guys one last time. I'll be going live after work. You guys can get 3 amazing rewards, an XP scroll, a costume, and then a mount just by stopping over and watching for 4 hours. You have the whole week to do so, but if you want to spend it with me, I'll be doing it after work. So thank you guys again, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.